Hey everybody, I'm just quickly setting up. This is going to be a really quick live. I'm about to crank up and drive off. I don't even have time to wait on people to come in. I'm literally am about to drive off to meet a couple that I ran into. I got to give this up to God right now. If everything happens the way it's purported and promised to, I'm going to drive less than 2 miles right now from where I'm at. Not telling nobody where I'm at, where I'm going at the moment. I have a job interview tomorrow at 2 p.m. and if everything works out, I should be given a start date. And I just got to make it through the next 2 weeks and get paid. I've got somewhere to park. At the very minimal, I met someone that's kind of been through what I went through and I'm going through, and has found a safe haven, and they're going to share. And they checked out my generator today and said my fuel pump isn't doing something right, but they can fix it. Literally, it'll cost a nickel. You got to put a nickel in place of some fuse thing. I don't know, don't understand. They're going to pump all my tanks out and fill my water tank up. I'll be able to take a hot shower tonight because I'm going to be hooked to propane. At the very minimal, I'll have 2 weeks until I get my first paycheck to stay there. And they're helping me get the job. They know the owner of the business establishment, and I know some people as well. And we kind of got a group together to help me be able to help myself. And possibly be able to stay there permanently. It just depends. Luckily, it's not within the city limits, but it's less than 4 miles from where I was parking that was in city limits, which means there's less restriction, less zoning, less people can call. I promised I would not show where I'm parked and tell anybody where I'm parked other than my child and my family, best friend. I can't, not even the general public here, so that things don't happen like what happened. Something I want to say, I wanted to tell y'all that to ease everybody's minds. I have 3/4 of a tank of gas. I have 4 quarts of transmission fluid that I put in. Reverse is still slipping. But the guy looked at it and said it's something to do with my linkage and he can fix that. And what the guy tore up, he said that dude took me for a ride, especially if I bought all the parts and everything, and it was labor that he charged me over $200 for. And I said, well, I got receipts I can show, and I did. And he said, Lord, honey, he said, you've been drugged for about 6 months now through it. And he said, you're my daughter's age, and I've been doing this for a long time in a camper. And he said, this is the worst town I've ever been in for how people treat somebody that they think is not as good as them. But thank you. That's all I'm asking for is prayers, Miss Keisha. Thank you. So I want to say this. Last night I was overheating and I just needed somewhere to park for about 2 or 3 hours so it could cool off enough that I could put water in because I didn't have hot water. I went to the hospital parking lot because I thought, well, it'll take 2 or 3 hours to go through the ER. You know, and get seen. It's never took me less than 3, to be honest here. I wasn't even parked 12 minutes before nighttime security came a knocking. They told me I probably had about an hour or 2, maybe if I was lucky, before the people come. And this was 6 in the morning. And make me move. I was parked in the visitor and patient parking area. I wasn't asked if I was a patient. I wasn't asked if I was a visitor. The morning security crew came beating, and I mean beating, not on a door, not on a window, not on a wall. They beat on the open window. The girl hit me in the head with her fist when she hit the window screen. They kept knocking. In 3 minutes, I came outside the camper to put the water in, and she was banging and beating her, and the one that's with her co-signing, yelling behind her and telling me to go now. I didn't have 15 minutes to leave. They were calling the police. It was private property. They were having me arrested and then impounded. And I said, ma'am, I'm older. She said, you ain't moved from the spot you was in. I said, ma'am, that's not true. I'm standing here holding 2 jugs, and I walked over here and got the water up out of the storage unit to put into the car. And I said, I'm trying to move. You're stalling me right now. And I said, I was trying to go to the emergency room and get treatment. My inhaler's empty, and I'm having breathing issues. Well, you'll have to go to the Cracker Barrel or somewhere else and park and call the ambulance to bring you in, or walk in here. So that's what I have to do my stress test there too, I guess. I would have thought that if I was sick and needed medical treatment, that the hospital was the place to go. So I got the water in, praying that it wouldn't crack my block and mess up my motor and everything. And got in, tied stuff down that I, slung my food in my mouth that I was trying to eat, and everything else, so stuff wouldn't roll around. And didn't know where to go. Knew that the O'Reillys and the Roses was in a big parking lot along with a bank. And I ended up parking in the Roses part, taking up 2 parking spaces lengthwise, and kind of beside the bank. Long story short, nobody bothered me. The gentleman saw me up under the hood trying to work on it and stopped, and that's where the conversation started, because he has one that looks almost like it, and was parked nearby and stuff, and is trying to help me. And what I wanted to say is, you watch these videos where they audit towns and do videos and stuff. I honest to gosh would have thought me being parked for more than 4 hours next to the bank and in front of the shopping place that had signs up, no overnight or day parking for tractor trailers, would have been the first persons or people or whatever, that would have come at me and said something. Real stuff. They didn't at all. The only thing that got said was people stopped to see if I was okay and offered to help. More help than I've had offered in 6 months of my life recently. But, sorry. But, and it's so muggy, I'm wet with sweat right now, believe it or not. It's like 70, it said it's 78 degrees, but it feels, with the humidity and everything, it feels like it's about 98 degrees. But anyway, and it's terrible for my sinuses and my allergies. And I've got my doctor's appointment set up, so I'm trying to get everything worked out. He's going to try and get me fixed up here to where I can get equal to or greater than out of this camper motorhome than I paid for it, and be able to get me something smaller. I've got 2 weeks to get a paycheck and a job. Everything that he's doing and everything, I need to pay $75 a month when I get my first check and stuff, I can't see. With wait a minute, I'm trying to read what it says. I don't have my glasses. I need to file a complaint. I intend to. Thank you for telling me that. I could have died. The last time I had one of those attacks, my O2 sat was 80. They wouldn't let me say a word. I want to know that, Kathy, is Delta still over them? Because if it is, I'm calling Richard and Sandra in the morning or Monday morning and let them know. The woman might not thought I was nothing. I'm so tired of people treating me like I'm garbage. Just because. And I would think that they would remember almost, it ain't even been quite a year since Helene came through and destroyed so much around us. And we're still recovering. I'm better off than a lot, you know? And I wasn't asking nobody for nothing. I just needed rest. They put me out driving, and it could have damaged my vehicle permanently. I could have died and killed somebody on the road. I mean, it's a lot. And I was in visit. They said that the staff was complaining, the doctors and the nurses. Well, it's weird because there was a sign next to me that said visitor parking. And when you go in, the arrow was pointing directly at where I was sitting that said visitor parking. So why are they complaining? They wasn't supposed to be parking where I was at. I'm ashamed of my hometown for the way that y'all are treating people. You want people to come and put money here and go to Linville Gore, to go up on Lake James and all that. But those are retirees. They got boats. They got RVs. They got campers. You can't sit and keep treating them like they're trash when they're in an RV. And every one of these places around here that I go to park and talk about getting a spot, oh, if you're over 30 feet or more, if you're over 25 feet, you got to pay for 2 spots or we don't accept you. Or if you're over 10 years old, we don't accept you. I do need something smaller, but smaller was like 3 times the price. And I had to do what I could do to not be in the streets. And I did park on the side of the road that's in the right-of-way zone near the sidewalk next to my daughter's a couple times. But her neighbor complained, and I'm sorry. People can get mad at me if they want to, but I can't be the reason that her and little man are in the position I'm in, you know? I just pray that the owner of the business is the godly man I'm told he is. And with the references from the employment I had through Fullwinder Enterprises and top of the chain there in office and owners ready to speak for me. The owners and former sheriff and his wife ready to speak for me. I have excellent references, you know. And request to speak to the new CEO. Okay, I will, Kathy. I will. Jackie, I got that, and I screenshotted the last comment. I will, Miss Kathy. I promise. I'm tired, because I'm telling you, if they don't do something, I'm calling the governor, I'm calling the senator, and I'm calling the congressman. Because here's the thing: no matter what you roll up in, you should not be denied services at a public funded hospital. It's not private property. My tax dollars pay there, and I pay in tax dollars. They pay. That is a state and federally funded hospital. So when they told me it's private property, they didn't know what they were talking about. Real stuff. It's not even the hard time, antique little girl. It's the tone and attitude of folks, you know? Making me feel like I'm not good enough to be here when for the past, I don't know, 8 generations, my family's been here on both sides. My daddy's family, my grandpa's and grandma's family, they built most of what's here. If you live in the Morganton area, do you know the last name Mall? Do you know the last name Carswell? For years, I volunteered at the hospital as a candy striper. And it's nice when multiple people from all walks of life are standing having a conversation and every one of them said, oh no, they're not hiring you here, here, and here. Just don't waste your time because they don't hire nobody over the age of such and such. The manager that McDonald's has that's my age transferred from another state. She didn't get hired on there. I was until I broke down. You must have missed that part. The roadside assistance guy knocked the lid off of the overflow tank, and it also has the pressurized recirculation. Bottom line, nearly 3 gallons of water got expelled out, and I was running hot, and I stopped at the hospital to put the water back in when it cooled down enough. So I went and, cracked the heads, block, whatever, warped my heads, all that stuff. And that's when I got threatened. I got there at 6:40 a.m. and I left by 7:09 a.m. And I was harassed and talked to disrespectfully and everything. My friend that works for social services said, I wish you would have called me at 7 o'clock in the morning. I would have told you to dial 911 and tell the EMS you're in the parking lot being refused service and to come help you. That's what I wish I'd have done too. At the one I'm sitting at right now, this one, don't say that. I got treated better in Rose's parking lot next to a freaking bank than I got treated at the hospital. And that's a fact. I was going up the mountain towards Old Fort, but I mean, it was cherry hot. You could see under the hood the metal was a red tint to it. I got her cherry hot. It was red lined for the whole drive from where I'm at right now to the hospital. They're talking to me, there's still steam and water shooting out the front of the son of a gun. And when they're telling me to crank up and move. And what do? We're going to impound it. We're going to have you arrested. Well, what about the guy that just left and tried to attack me in your parking lot and get in here and said that y'all told him to leave, you was going to arrest him, and he got stuff hanging from him everywhere. Said that y'all brought him by ambulance from Shelby. Please, tried to hand me money and everything else. And tried to shove his way up in here. And where was security at then? I wish I had videotaped every bit of it. But I was scared, and I tried to report it to him and tell her what happened and why I was where I was. That lady didn't want to hear nothing. The two that were there at night, they were very kind. They were very businesslike. They were very professional. They were just doing their job. The other lady and the guy that was with her this morning were rude, disrespectful, and scared me. Like, you would have thought that I had hit her mama the way she acted. That I had personally done something to her. And that's the best I know. I do have to end pretty quick because I got to get where I was at. I plan on contacting, I wanted to give administration at the hospital a chance to know what was happening. And if Delta still supplies their security, I wanted to talk to Delta's owners because I do know them personally. And my next step was Dave Faraday and Action 9. And maybe that's why. Maybe I need to see this so I can advocate, because this looks like the perfect little small town until you need a help up. And then they want to throw you away like garbage. And I'm ashamed of my hometown. I'm ashamed of you guys. I'm ashamed of every one of y'all that lives here that I know and don't know. I'm ashamed of how I was born here. I've lived 53 years here. And I'm just ashamed. And this is the only hospital. It's not like there's a choice. Hospital wonders why it has such a bad reputation. Well, there you go. And I mean, literally, from what I understand, those security guards that were doing that hadn't even been at work for 15 minutes. State you're most likely to be castrated in is North Carolina. That figures. Well, I will say North Carolina probably because they messing with kids. They don't like that much. That don't go around here. Sorry, guys. I know it's gross, but I'm blowing my nose. The other thing I want to say is, please, y'all pray for that little baby. I know they're saying they think he's gone, the Emmanuel Harrow. And to the comment that was left, I've done as much research as humanly possible while trying to figure out how to work, fix a car, self, and being run off after 10 minutes anywhere I go, whether I make a purchase or not, and not able to get medical necessary help. Don't worry, I'm calling my friend that works at Burke Primary Care too, because they're the ones that told me to go get the inhaler, because my first appointment is now September 9th, and they can't call me a refill in on it until I've actually physically been seen in their office. Smith Jr., if you know Miss Kathy, you know. The other thing, what was I going to say? Oh, I want to talk about Emmanuel Harrow's case. So, he was sentenced, let me clarify, because a lot of times people listen to part of what you say, but not all of it, I found around YouTube land. I am amazed, pissed, and disgusted that when he did that to that 10-week-old little girl of his, and what was done to the son that is still more functional, that the family member of the mother, not the same mama, different mama, adopted. And I think now she may have taken on the 2-year-old that was removed from the home currently. That's some people saying yes, some saying no. Thank you, the good Lord above, for helping me. Thank you for helping that baby and get justice that didn't come for his other siblings. Hopefully. Because they sitting there on a no bond hold right now, and apparently Jake was transferred to a different jail today. I feel like old girl's told, and I hope she has, and maybe it'll just get the death penalty off for her, because they both deserve it. They don't, neither one deserve a spit shine from your backside. Take it however you want to. On some real talk too, 6 months is what he was supposed to do at some kind of work camp thing From what I understand, and I'll repeat it again, he spent one night in jail, and pretty much it sounds like he was on an ankle monitor for 6 months and reporting, and went through some classes and was better. I want to know, here's something I suspect. This attorney that's out there, what kind of reputation does that attorney have in that community, first? And second, is he somehow related to Jake's family? Or Jack, whatever. Who cares what his name is? The Daddy of the Year candidate. Is the attorney related to him? Because there's some very similar facial features and mannerisms that I've seen. Just a question that I've wondered. Just a personal question. Nothing to be put out there to say. Nita said. Let's see. What was the other thing? Yeah. They did take blood, was found in the carpet. So when the attorney said there's a digging up stuff and a cutting up stuff, it wasn't in the yard, it's there. And there's been a report out from someone in a nearby neighborhood that saw them driving up down the road about 2 weeks ago repeatedly. And then at midnight, her pushing a black stroller deep into a construction site. Oh yeah, absolutely. Trump is winning. I think the baby was, I do, I've wondered that. Guys, when she was talking, either she don't really know her child's birth date, or I think the baby was around 5-6 months old when whatever happened. I don't know about the blood evidence. I know they'll be able to do DNA and stuff and figure it out. But can they tell by the blood evidence how long it's been there and how long ago the incident that put it there occurred? Just a question. I don't know. Clarifying repeatedly. There was something else I was going to ask. My brain is going 9 million directions, and I do have to hurry and get where I'm going. It's not far, but I don't want to seem ungrateful, and I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie. These are people I don't know, and it's hard to believe that strangers would have more kindness than people you grew up with and knew your whole life. But, they look at me and they don't want to see what they think or hope would never happen to them, live and in person type thing, I feel like. People need to understand, when FEMA got involved and disaster areas were claimed and stuff, certain things were made by government entities that made it where you had to give up your property. I got boxed into a situation because to get the stuff to fix where the tree had fell, the owner of the property had to apply. Well, the owner was dead. And we were doing what's called a small claim, a small estate claim. And when you have a small estate claim, you don't do the normal probate and stuff like that. My attorney, shout out to him, Wayne Glantz. He doesn't have the greatest reputation. He does things slow and methodical in his way. And if you're trying to move fast, I don't recommend it. But if you want somebody that actually does have a heart and cares about his clients, maybe. Because I know while I was around, there was a bunch of cases that he took on. And unlike others, he didn't get no money up front. Some of them he didn't even get paid for. If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. He helped me with selling the house. He also helped me with getting the paperwork for Mama's estate. Where I had to pay the $135 at the courthouse, he paid it and let me reimburse him. He didn't have to do that. I mean, he got his money and he got extra because he did the job and he got paid for doing it. He took time out. He met me. He walked me in the courthouse. He got the stuff done that nobody else couldn't have got done. And I just think that's worth saying thank you for, you know. One thing that has come out about the Hero case, and y'all talking about the boy being blind, just so you know, he, my understanding is he was not born with that, as they called it, lazy eye or cross-eye condition. It developed later on. And I want to say this. That little girl, his older sister, she was 10 weeks old. And a lot of injuries had already healed on her. And, you know, been redone when she finally got to a doctor, right? This baby was 7 months old, or would have been 7 months old. Between 10 weeks and 7 months, how many times had that little baby got injured like his sister was injured? And I'm a DV and SA survivor, and I do see a lot of that in the mama, but that don't negate. I think, in my opinion, it would appear that she probably, based on the bruises and her actions and what I know about DV and SA victims and survivors, I'm thinking that she allowed that child to get what she had got and not get what, and stop the abuse she was receiving, okay? And I'm wondering, did they really think they're going to get by with this? There's always going to be one in the family that don't believe you and don't like you that's going to tell on you. And the 2-year-old got removed. I want to know what that 2-year-old's told. You know what my prayer is? My prayer is that neither one of them don't get to make a deal, because the 2-year-old tells everything and they got him and they don't got to give nothing. He did look like he had suffered. I'm reading your stuff. How many pictures did we see where that child even looks like he's attempting to smile? Not none. He did show shaken baby syndrome. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Look at the fear in that child's eyes in a couple of them pictures. And them two tried to get out there and act like they is a boo-hooing and a crying. Bullshit. Bullshit. When I cry, I got snot. Where was her snot? Where was her snot? She didn't even sound congested. Okay, I am going to have to get off here in just a moment. A couple things I want to say before I wrap this up. I got to get my mental together and go out here and be strong. And I'm going to get me a good hot shower and a good night's sleep. And go to my job interview at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Prayers. Please, guys, that's all I'm asking. Prayers, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Show some love, you know. If anybody can and will, please, Venmo, Cash App. Hold on. Okay, I just missed a call from the person I was supposed to be meeting, so, okay. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all that's in the description. If anybody can help, it'd be great. I'm trying to, the next 2 weeks is what I've got to suffer through. And after that, this job should be good. And I'm seeing light at the end of the rainbow. And I thank all y'all for sticking with me through what has been a time where I've questioned everything. But I'm so thankful that I've had you guys And I've had a relationship with our Lord and Father above, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. Thank you to Miss Patricia. Big, huge shout out to Miss Kathy, who rolled up on the scene yesterday in the Volvo, making me feel like queen for a day, I guess. I can't drive, especially at night, and talk, even on the phone or nothing. You guys, if Kathy, if you're watching, I got your message, and I will call you. I'm still working on trying to quit smoking. I have hard candy, and I'm gonna get me some saltwater taffy, freeze dried. It works really good. I don't know why. It's low fat, low sodium, so it's a good alternative. I'm not allowing myself to buy any cigarettes. I'm gonna got what I can roll and sell. I will be near an area where I can stand out with the sign and hope we get some help. And I'm outside the city limits, so I don't have to worry about public safety stressing me so bad. A lot of the Burke County fellas, I know them from the work that I did with hospice and a couple of the nursing facilities in the past. I miss that kind of work, and I wish I could do it. But my driving, while licensed revoked, non-impaired conviction precludes me from being able to be hired, and I do not understand. Anybody that's in the area, formerly it was Bridhaven, now I think it's Magnolia Hill, they told me that. Autumn Care told me that. It's something about the driving. I don't know if it's corporate or state. They told me pretty much because of that driving charge that I would have to be somewhere that gets non-certified aids. So, thank you, D. D, I want you to know I love you. And I feel like a big baby crying because I know I've seen your videos, not just on summer, but a lot of yours out in the wild have helped me. It inspired me. I'm working on my never-ending candles. I'm not going to quit making the jewelry tonight. As soon as I get settled, y'all check out my post section. I'm going to post some of the jewelry that I have ready for sale right now on there. Not expecting y'all to buy. I just want you to see kind of what I'm talking about. And then I do. I want a job, not just for the income. I need people to understand something. These past probably close to a year and a half, but the 6 months has been the worst lately. I need a reason to get up and to do. And we all need a reason in life, and I have lost mine. And I didn't understand a lot of what I was going through until I got the diagnosis of complex PTSD. And some people think it's a joke and it's cool, take what you want. It's like a light went on. I'm working to get proper counseling and treatment, and I am on a wait list. Those of you that are in this area, High Country Mental Health. Okay? North Carolina, Miss D. Near the mountains. I am where I'm at right now. Would take me around an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, depending on vehicle and traffic and reroutes because of Helene, to get to Summerwell's house. I've been there a couple times. I want people to understand too, please, y'all report these AI videos. They hurt real creators. And they hurt real people and real families. I personally got jumped into a lot, but I feel that Tim Mullins' business is behind it, because it's kind of what they do in reverse. He erases that digital footprint. And Miss D, excellent work on that baseball thing. I see where you're going, and you may have found the missing link that I've been hunting for so long. The only other person with money like that to be the head of something, a snake per se, is the person's owning that big mansion on Simpson Road there. You know where the I call it the church in the middle of the yard that Brandon and JLR walked up on. JLR has no idea, or didn't at that time, how much that video and that walkthrough showed us. I am so thankful to him for that video. But to have something like Locals, and D, if I ever get a chance to talk to you privately, there's some stuff I know that might help you. Do you have an email, and is it on your channel? Because I'll email you from the Nina's world and send you some documents. If possible, if you don't have some tax documents and stuff that I've had for a couple years, and you might see something different than what I see, and I'm willing to share free. If you've got a Google Dropbox, that's the easiest way to share them. I've got some tax records that start 2022, but we're going back to 1980s and 70s. Property tax transfers, the adoption records of Summer's sister to a dead lady. Imagine that. There's a lot. And mama and daddy's in it up to their necks. You best believe it. They are not above running a house where the setup happens. I'm trying to talk clearly, but not right on out there. I don't know if y'all watched the Kentucky judge and sheriff's case, but I think it's real similar to that kind of situation. Real similar. And then the thing I want to comment real quick before I get off of here, Jack and Lily, the missing Nova Scotia children, sorry. They're all kids to me. I'm an old lady. Y'all are kids to me. But, it recently came out. I was watching Michelle, and she put it out there. Shout out to her. Of the family, the stepdad and the mama, they passed that lie detector. But the step-grandma, hers was a little fishy, y'all. Amy and D, honey, I'll throw it at you, and if it helps Summer's case, and I've got a lot, so I'll send parts at a time, I guess, the max it'll let me. Anything that helps her and helps get information out, I am down for it. Absolutely. I gotta say, you guys, Rhonda Moon vouches for you, Miss D. You got carte blanche in my channel. And they'll tell you around here, Miss Rhonda's been here with me since day one. She's somebody that we really need to talk to. She survived a situation in her lifetime like I believe that Summer was smack dab in the middle of. There was ritualistic stuff going on, in my opinion. And as I said in that one comment, you keep following the money. They think because we don't live in a mansion on the hill and live what's their American dream, that we're ignorant lowlifes, and that's not how it is. I don't drink, I don't gamble, I don't do dope and shit, and I have no need. I don't understand why somebody would do the first time put a needle to them. I ain't even got a tattoo. I'm so scared of them things. Rhonda Moon is one of our viewers, Miss D. She's been here with my channel since day one. And she is a survivor of SA and DV that involved satanic rituals. She's very nervous around people. She loves animals, but she's very nervous around people. They've only ever hurt and used her whole life. She's a good woman. She's here. She's near to me and Summer. I'll put it that way. Alright guys, I am going to have to say goodbye. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? Anything they want to ask me about? Anything that they want to tell me? If you want to talk to me privately, all you got to do is send me an email. Miss Justice has lovingly, without me saying so, been dropping it in the chat for me, along with my donation stuff. But I will read them. Bear with me right now while I'm in a transitional phase. Guys, it's kind of, imagine I lived in the same home for 34 years. And since March 21st of this year, it's probably more than 11 different places. I got sent by my caseworker for food stamps to Burke United Christian Ministries' new operation that was supposed to have been open. By the way, I'm being told they're only allowing one-day pickup of your mail if you get your box there. They no longer have showers or the soup kitchen available or laundry. They moved into a new facility because they pretty much got booted out of the other one after 50-year lease expiring. And they do the food pantry, and they're begging for donations. Thank you, Carrie. Awesome. Y'all, Miss Carrie's got everything y'all need to know about Summer and who to contact. Oh, and let me say this. Summer Wells. Dee, you might know if you're still in here. Anybody that knows, though, let me know. I'm hearing conflicting reports. Some people are saying that Hawkins County is still over her case and controlling it. Others are saying that in 2024, it was turned over fully to TBI. TBI is the lead. My source is telling me that it is still, as it's always been categorized, a joint investigation between the FBI's card team, the TBI, and Hawkins County, with Hawkins County being the controller. Like, they own 51%, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. But, I do have to go before they give up and think I'm not coming, because I only had 2 miles to go and I've been on here for 49 minutes. If anybody else has anything to say or ask me, please email me, reach out, social medias. The person that told me to check my Facebook, I checked the one for my page and my personal one, and I don't know why. You told me to. I'm trying, Bam. I love you guys so much. Sometimes just having somebody willing to say a prayer for you and putting good energy out means more than anything you'll ever know. And one thing too, with Summer Wells' case, I can't, y'all know I don't really care for old Jody, but inadvertently, she's given some good information here lately, but I know that she's not honest. When someone accuses you or puts it out there that you're involved with a group of folks or y'all were doing this together or that together, and you know you're not, whether you can prove it or you talk about it or not, you know that they're lying, but they state it as a fact, then you're going to side-eye that person and not believe what they tell. So I'm telling you that I know without a shadow of a doubt that she does not tell the truth all the time. I was duped like everybody else by Chase. I thought he was Summer's savior. I watched that video where he opened that building, the storage building out back behind his trailer, and showed the pallet of flyers for Summer and knew he was nearby and fell hook, line, and sinker. Because I had seen so many people that got my hackles up and made me feel like they were not good people, that I was just so happy to see that. But after I met him in person, I felt differently. A lot of y'all don't know, and I don't talk about it a lot because some things are viewed as anti-Christian. The tarot card readings and stuff. And I get it, and I respect that. And I'm new to being reborn in Christ, so I'm learning. And regardless, I stood back from that for a period of time because I feel like I'm too new and too vulnerable. Right on D. She was right in the thick, in my opinion. And opinions are not actionable. That is protected speech by our Constitution. I'm allowed to say I have an opinion. So when I said the AI, and then in my opinion, Tim is behind it, Tim's little buddy Love, that came at me and threatened me, you actually committed a crime, sir. You communicated threats. I did not commit anything. I spoke on what I think and I believe, and I stated profusely it was my opinion. YouTube's tired of the AI channels too. It might be, I see what you're talking about. It sure does look like it. Hank Hill's dad. The AI generated stuff is full of lies. Not just the one video. As soon as, this is why I felt that Tim Mullins, in my opinion, that Tim Mullins' business that he ran, erasing digital footprints, could be tied to it and in behind it. Simply because as soon as that was posted on the Summer Wells webpage, that his family and him run, about the new search, I've counted, and Crimevale was one, but I've counted at least 7 channels that started just pump, and dump AI videos day after day, sometimes multiple ones in a day. Something triggered that. Somebody starts those videos. And if it's not a monetized channel, until they get to that point, they don't really have to put their true identity out there. And I know that it says they're in, I think it was in Africa somewhere. I forget right now. I went blank. You can say you're anywhere. I can be here, and until I'm monetized and have to prove it and offer up, everything to Google, I can put down that I'm in Zimbabwe. It doesn't mean that I am. I can say I'm in, down under in one of the Aussies, Nigeria. Thank you, Miss Justice. I mean, it happens. Y'all, I thought Hank Hill walked up next to old boy right there for a second. I'm just thankful and blessed and humbled and honored. And the 2 videos that people came at me for putting Summerwell's name in the title, with the AI, I felt I needed to, because I wanted the community to not be drawn in and duped. I know I saw that. I sent out messages to several of you guys. I was torn up by the title of that video. I was even scared to watch it because I was afraid of where they were going to say that they had found. And if they found remains and they were hers, then that means she's not still alive, and I've not given up hope. Alright, guys. That note, I'm going to say peace, love, and light, and get out of here, because when this one truck cranks up and leaves, I'll be able to get around and get out. Because remember, I can't back up. I can only go forward. I wonder if that's a sign from the Lord. Did they take reverse as a sign to tell me that don't go backwards in life, only go forward? I love y'all. Peace, love, and light. Thank you, Miss Kathy, for letting me use your saying every night. Love y'all. Thank you, D. Love you. Bye.